Rob G, Victor Wembanyama.
Whoa!
Everyone knows
play the
it's
song.
Wemby.
Yeah,
If you didn't love Wemby before, Rob G, this story
That's a great point. You're right about that.
will make you love Wemby even more because the kid's only 22.
Yeah, your favorite
most
player
people.
in the NBA, Victor Wembanyama,
There you go, Wembanyama. I said it.
became
right there.
one of the few professional athletes, at least in the NBA, to come out and speak out against the murder of Alex Pretti by ICE agents in Minnesota.
That's a sad story when you really look at that. And you know this, you do news in the morning. It's a sad story.
And Victor Wembanyama, you'll hear the sound in a second, admittedly said that the Spurs PR told him, don't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Say something politically correct if you're going to talk about it. He met with the media today, and he let his thoughts be known. Take a listen.
PR has tried, but I'm not going to sit here and give some politically correct, Every day I wake up and see the news and I'm horrified. I think that it's crazy that some people might make it seem like, or make it sound like it's acceptable. The murder of civilians is acceptable, I read the news and sometimes I'm asking very deep questions about my own life. But, I'm conscious also that saying everything that's on my mind would have a cost that's too great for me right now. So I'd rather not get into too many details. It's terrible. I know I'm a foreigner. I live in this country. I am concerned for sure.
Can I do this?
Yeah, I'll join you on that.
I'm dead serious. A 22-year-old kid. Bravo. Bravo.
Foreigner, mind you, he hadn't grown up here with
He's not from
a
here.
massive history of American,
And you go to ask some of these other
history.
players, and they gonna go, "Oh, this is bad. It's bad. Oh, that's bad." They have nothing to say. This is. How do you not like this kid? How do you not like this kid? Seriously.
Well, I have a lot to say.
He didn't go after anybody. It wasn't political. It's wrong. He's just talking about what happened. I didn't hear a Democrat, Republican. I didn't hear. It's wrong. Yes, you can say that, and if people have a problem with you saying that an innocent American citizen could be shot, gunned down on the streets of Minneapolis,
Mind
and
you,
we're
for
okay.
helping someone, too.
Yes, or a lady who was knocked down.
He was being pepper sprayed. Yeah, knocked down and then
You
pepper
know the
sprayed up.
details,
Yeah.
but you get my point. You should be afraid to say that this is wrong.
And let's not listen. A lot of people too have issues with who are these ICE agents? Who are they? Rob, you don't know anything about the background. You don't know the mask that they're all hiding behind a mask.
Anytime people cover themselves, you always
law
gotta be
enforcement is
suspect.
supposed to be the most upfront.
Yeah.
Here's my badge number. Here's my name. Here's what I am. Here's my department I'm with. Like,
Right.
what do they? Every movie you've ever seen, where they knock on the door, they show the badge. Like that's supposed to be who I am.
They don't put a hood on and then go like, "No, you don't get to see my badge number. I'm with the police. Just open up."
For other reasons I can't go into, you know what I do. But if you really dive into also who they're hiring, we won't even go there.
Right.
We won't even go there. Victor Wembanyama is everything what you would hope for in a young athlete.
He's 22.
He's 22.
Oh my God, he's so grounded.
That's the perfect term. He is grounded. He is well-rounded. He's becoming, you can tell he wants to be well-read. He's studying it up, and you can tell he has conviction because you can tell he said, listen, and you know what I like too? One of my favorite parts about that? He said, I got a lot going on in my mind. I got a lot of thoughts, but I know the cost will be too big for me right now. You know why I appreciate that? Because that's an honest answer. Right now, he's like, dang, I don't want to fully go where I want to go. Because maybe that's an honest answer.
But I'm still going to make a statement.
But I'm going to say something.
And he says, I watch the news every
day. And I
Did you
see
hear
this.
him?
And he said civilians being gunned down. I applaud this young man for not being scared. I applaud this young man for being true to himself because at the end of the day, you have to go to bed with yourself and think, and be comfortable with whatever you did or didn't do. I applaud him. And the only thing I'll say, and it's not about him. Everyone's going to say, well, yeah, so-and-so ain't saying something. So-and-so, I do wonder, and this is kind of a question for you and Rob G. Rob, both of you Robs, is there any fatigue from a Steph, from a LeBron, from a guys who went crazy with the all the stuff that was happening in 26 with Colin Kaepernick, who then went crazy 4 years later, who went crazy with the summer of George Floyd, speaking up, Black Lives Matter. And I'm wondering if there's a fatigue from them of, the cost. Like, it costs me, whether it be sleep, time, money, effort, resource, maybe emotion, because I put all that into it and nothing's changed. And so that's the one reason why I'm always going to be hesitant to just why he's not saying so. Why didn't he say so? Because those guys went crazy for about a 6 to 8 year span, speaking up, standing up, marching. We talked about the other day, Donald Sterling. They didn't just go, well, I mean, he will.
No, they said
we're not playing. They took the shirts off. And the players specifically in the NBA have been incredibly vocal to even some people might be saying nauseum, say, oh my God, I'm tired of it. That's the only reason why I will cut a lot of them slack right now is that there may be a fatigue. They didn't sign up to be activists per se.
But it's not everybody. That's not even. I'm not expecting everybody to speak up.
Right.
But I'm not going to push back on somebody who feels that they
I love
should.
It. I love it. Is what I'm saying.
Doc Rivers. I could argue all day about him as a basketball coach in the last 10 years. Okay, and I'm not going to be on his side. Right. I'll be.
Right.
But when he stands up there and says, "What are we doing in this country where we're denying kids from eating?"
Yeah.
Like seriously. That's a real concern, and he felt, I have a platform. I'm going to speak out against us holding money as the government and punishing kids from eating breakfast and lunch.
And I'll give you another person, Steve Kerr. You
Kerr
can say a lot about him. We can question
I got
it. You
issues
can love
on
him.
Steve Kerr.
But Steve Kerr has never bit his tongue. And you know who I think is also weighing a lot on a young mind like a Victor Wembanyama? Greg Popovich. I would imagine he's had conversations with Greg Popovich or are very familiar now because he's in that family, that fraternity, the organization of the Spurs. And I would imagine he's either seen or spoke or been around or read some things he said.
Have you seen the video of
Pop? He didn't.
That was hard to watch.
Yeah, and the crazy part is I think that's better than what it was that they showed last week. So yeah, all the best out to Pop, but I absolutely believe that he's learned from Pop, speaking up when you have a chance. If it's on your mind, let it off. You're a human as well. You're allowed to have emotions. You don't have to be so politically correct because such and such buys shoes and I don't want to offend people. And every now and again, you got to do what you want. And I've had a conversation several times with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Had him on the show live during the summer of George Floyd. He answered the phone. We called him breaking news. It was when the whatever you want to call them, protest riots, all this thing was happening down in Santa Monica here in Southern California. And I asked him on the air, Robert said, why do you feel the onus is oftentimes on the black athlete to have to speak up to everything? And he just spoke on, he said, because for his, and he was young. Remember the boycott in the Olympics?
Yes,
he was young. And he said he felt like he needed to. He felt he had a voice. He felt he had the privilege to be in this position to try to speak up for people.
Everybody doesn't have a platform. And like there could be plenty of players who could say something and it'll fall on deaf ears.
Yep.
And sometimes, not everybody, and I get that. Michael Jordan was criticized during his time when he was criticized about just worrying about selling T-shirts and sneakers.
Not wanting to offend somebody.
Yeah,
if
like,
I say
like
something,
the whole thing,
I'm
right,
50%. I'm going to
right,
send somebody.
Right, and you can't live like that. You know what I mean? And that wasn't his thing. He was criticized for it, and he moved on.
And he knows it.
Okay.
He said he's more of a, what do they need? Okay, here's 50,000. Here's 100,000. I'd rather write a check.
He's built a hospital
he's
in
done
Charlotte.
A bunch of stuff.
He's done a lot of stuff to help people. So I'm not sitting there. That speaking out was not his strong point. But I'm never going to bash somebody who has an opinion about.
Let's not even go to Muhammad Ali, the GOAT of speaking up and standing on business.
If you would have told people Muhammad Ali was a draft dodger and hated in this country, okay? And he lit the Olympic torch. If you would have told me that in
1976,
that he would light the Olympic
20
torch,
years later,
it wouldn't. People would tell you crazy.
And that's what I think Victor Wembanyama is understanding, that standing on truth, standing on what you believe, standing with conviction. Ultimately, you win in the end. It might be hot. The kitchen might get a little hot. People might be on your head.
Always remember this. People always, you should. What side of history will you be on?
100%.
Like there are a lot of people. Right? Even today, you do all this wilding and all this crazy stuff, right? And treating people a certain way. Dude, there comes a reckoning and a history. And you don't know where you'll be. Like, are we on the right side of history or the wrong side of history? And during slavery in this country, there were a lot of white people who helped black people, in the slave
Underground
Railroad, all kinds of stuff. Yes, there were.
A lot of people, because at some point they said, okay, this is gone.
Right.
This is
they
not
were on the
right.
right side of history.
Yeah,
they were.
This was not right. Last thing for me with Victor Wembanyama, speaking up about this, I love it. and he's everything that's right. He's 22. What else does he do? He plays hard as heck on both sides of the court, plays defense. He speaks out about things. He plays offense. He loves his team. They just asked him about the All-Star game. They say, well, how do you know? What if they don't play hard? He said, basically, I don't give a dang what they going to do.
I'm going to play.
I'm going to be playing hard. He wants to play as much as he can. Obviously, the Spurs organization is trying to, be smart with his minutes and all that. He's a big fella, and he's had some health issues. Everything is what you would hope for. He's competitive. They asked him, they looked dead in Malik Andrews, I believe it was, looking dead in his eyes and said, who's the best player in the NBA? And he said, so-and-so. He said, but when I'm healthy, it's me.
I love that.
He is everything you'd want in a superstar or face of the NBA. I love it, and I applaud that young brother for that. And he was standing on business and standing on truth, and I ain't mad at him. All right, Rob, so they're watching us right now, which means another thing they can do is what?
They can subscribe. All you got to do is hit that button, subscribe to The Odd Couple for some of the best sports talk content in the nation.
Facts, and while you're at it, they can like, they can comment, they can share. Do all that for us. We appreciate it. Just do all that right up in here.